Dak Prescott out multiple weeks. Is it time to panic on Ceedee Lamb? Well, I'll ruin it for you and tell you that he's in the panic chamber. The question always is, do we panic? Just because the public is panicking, just because the player is going to be found at buy low pricing, seller dweller, sell off before it's too late, doom and gloom pricing, doesn't mean we don't go running toward the flames, but it doesn't mean we do. That's what we're here to debate and discuss on this live episode. Yes, we're live, of the Panic Chamber. Dak Prescott out multiple weeks. What do we do? What do you do? The Fantasy Football Show, Panic Chamber edition. Ceedee Lamb and Dak Prescott in the Panic Chamber edition begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live!
Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Breaking news. What do we do with Ceedee Lamb now that we have this situation brewing in Dallas where it's just been a mess from the jump? Jerry Jones not taking care of this team. I blame Jerry Jones for 80% of it. I know Dak is a very easy scapegoat for people saying, oh, Dak is garbage. I get it. Dak has not looked good. Dak has not done his part to vault this team up amidst all that's going on due to Jerry Jones's lack of ability to understand what time it is and build this team around Dak and CeeDee Lamb. Instead, he makes Dak and CeeDee Lamb go out there and fight for their life every week, and defenses are looking for it. Now, the question is, with Dak missing multiple weeks, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, Dak Prescott's hamstring injury is worse than initially feared, and it'll likely keep him out multiple weeks. We've got this report right here as well, speaking about that. And then we have this report here on top of it. Adam Schefter reporting that Ceedee Lamb has a sprained AC joint, per source. And though Lamb's shoulder is sore, the injury is not considered serious, and he's expected to have a chance to play Sunday versus the Eagles. Now, whenever you hear has a chance to play, that's like when Dad came home or when Dad was heading to work. Day wasn't even, hadn't even concluded yet. None of the obstacles that Dad had faced had faced him yet. And he said, hey, son, when I get home from work, why don't we throw a ball? Why don't we throw the ball out in the backyard? Maybe we'll get a little ice cream cone when I return from work. And you thought, oh, Dad, really, Dad? We could maybe play football and go get ice cream? Dad's optimistic. He says, we have a chance for ice cream and football. When Dad came home, there was no ice cream. There was no time. There was no energy. Dad pulled the rug out from under us. That's what's happening when you hear Ceedee Lamb has a chance to play. Now, maybe he does. I'm just merely telling you, be a little cautious before you expect him to play this week. The question at hand is this. Dallas is going to fold like a chair. They already have. So you worry about later on if Lamb's banged up at all, does he just sit? Let's say the shoulder injury gets worse. Keep in mind, Jordan Mason has a similar injury, and he's been in and out. Went back into the game the week that it happened, just like Lamb did. Next week, he wasn't good. And the same thing could happen here with Ceedee Lamb. He could go in, it could be sore, he could come out, miss multiple weeks. Or let's say something else happens down the stretch in week 15, 16, 17, where he's kind of banged up. This team is out of it. And he goes, you know what? I'm going to make a business decision and I'm going to sit out. I'm injured right now. Let me rest my body, go into the offseason. That happens all the time. The question is, as we sit here on Panic Chamber Tuesday, or Monday. I'm sorry. Monday. We got a Monday night game tonight. Panic Chamber Monday. We're sitting here trying to decide whether Lamb is a buy low, a hold, a sell medium because you can't sell them high, or something in between. The truth of the matter is about 80%, 90% of the time, there is both a buy low opportunity and a sell as high as you can opportunity with a player in this type of situation. So I will tell you this. If there is a ambulance chaser in your league, you own Ceedee Lamb, you're not winning right now, you're scared that he might even miss this week, which he could, he might play, he might not play. You're worried about a lot of things, and you know you can't win with the current state of your team. You might want to explore having a conversation with the ambulance chaser that's willing to pay yesterday's prices for today's Ceedee Lamb. And there are those scenarios. There are tons of people that have been wanting Lamb all year long, and they just say, I don't care if I got to pay the regular price tag as if he's not injured or Dak is not injured. I'll go ahead and pay that. I think Rush is going to be okay. Cooper Rush could deliver the ball, which I'll get to in a second. I think he can. Let's be honest here. Has Dak really turned Lamb into a consistent player all year? No. Now, is Dak probably the best thing for him? Yes. If I could sprinkle pixie dust around Dak Prescott's injury and make it vanish and make him healthy, I would. I would definitely do that. But is there also a world we live in where Cooper Rush does okay for him? Is there a world where Dak is part of the problem and this maybe ends up being not a blessing in disguise, but something that's not that negative at the end of the day and impactful? Sure, we'll go over that in just a little bit. But I'll say this. There are plenty of instances I can think of where somebody's willing to come get Ceedee Lamb a little bit cheaper than normal, surrender other players that they don't see coming like you do in terms of bounce backs or rises. Like, look how good Chase Brown's been when Chase Brown started very bad. Chase Brown, one of the bigger predictions on this channel, looked like a dog water prediction coming out of week 1 and 2. We had a lot of people coming in, Smitty, take back all your Chase Brown offseason content. Chase Brown! We said it all the time. We did the Chase Brown chant all offseason. Chase Brown! And he goes out and drops nothing in week 1. Week 2 looks like a garbage prediction. He came around. There are predictions like that. There are players like that. There are struggling Tyreek Hills where you could trade Lamb for Tyreek Hill and still get another player because Hill hasn't done nearly what Lamb has done, even with Lamb's current predicament, full predicament with Dak Prescott being injured and out multiple weeks and Lamb out maybe 1 week, maybe not. That predicament is still not as bad as the Tyreek Hill conundrum, which is Tyreek Hill not producing even when Tua's back. So you could sell out of Lamb, go get a Tyreek Hill and another player that might be also undervalued and find yourself in a still messy situation, but one you tend to like and root for a little more, one you have more optimism about unfolding differently go forward. That is your way to get out of Ceedee Lamb. That is the only way to get out of Ceedee Lamb. If you're going to try and sell him off for one player that's way below him, you're not making a smart move. You might as well ride this train until it derails or continues down the track and gets faster and faster and ends up being a productive journey. Or you sell to somebody that doesn't know what they have. You're selling not high, but you're selling medium, and you're buying extremely low on players that will be a lot better than the owner that owns them thinks that they will be. You will make out in this deal if you creatively sell medium rare. If you have to sell low, you don't do it. If you could somehow sell high, you do it. If you could sell medium to high, like I just described, medium rare, you do it if you need to do it. If you're winning, you can wait on this. Now, I will say that I'm definitely an interested party in buying low on Ceedee Lamb. The thing you got to understand is I'm not coming at this thing as if he's a top 5 to 10 overall player. So if I can't buy him low, and I'm not going to buy him even medium rare, I'm going to buy him below that. And if I can't, then I can't. You make an attempt on an owner that is sitting there staring 3 wins in the face and they say, well, regardless, I can't win with Lamb. I can't. If he misses a game or he plays badly and misses a game, or he maybe plays, but I don't have any faith in the Cowboys, let alone the Cowboys without Dak Prescott, and I've got 3 wins, guess what? I'm desperate. And it's not about, do you think you would do this trade? You need to jump in the mind of this Ceedee Lamb owner who might be 3 wins into the season, 2 wins, 1 win, 0 wins, 4 wins, and say, what are they thinking? What are they willing to accept? And then I go after them. I'm trying to give up players that are doing very well right now. A DeAndre Swift and a wide receiver maybe I don't need, but I have, that I want to start every week, but I can't. Maybe I was lucky enough, and this is a lot of you, that have a Kraft and a Laporta, and you need to bank on one of them. And you say, you know what, I'll bank on the Laporta. Or even better, the Otton owners out there that picked up Otton and have Laporta, or they have another tight end that they can bank on. Kyle Pitts and Otton. Now you know you can't trade Kyle Pitts on the high because he just had a bad game and people are fickle. Fickle Freddy's everywhere. But now you can sell Otton, especially before Monday night kicks off. There are tons of ways. And I'm not saying you get Ceedee Lamb for Otton. I'm merely saying you go to a tight end needy team. You say, here's Otton and here's this player. I give you J.K. Dobbins, Otton, and a wide receiver. I give you popping off, doing well like we predicted, Jaden Reed and Otton, or J.K. and Jaden Reed for Ceedee Lamb. If you think there aren't scenarios where you get Ceedee Lamb for J.K. Dobbins and a player like Reed or Otton, you haven't explored the buy low market before. There are panic Peters everywhere. In every league has somebody that makes bad trades, or at least one bad trade a year. I don't want to hear, Smitty, that wouldn't fly in my league. I'm too good. My league is a superstar league. I'd never be caught red-handed playing in a league that would allow me to get Ceedee Lamb using J.K. Dobbins or Swift with a wide receiver that hasn't done well all year, Smitty. I'm just too good for it. Reflect back. In that exact league, tell me someone hasn't made a devastating, horrible, bad offer or trade executed upon a trade in your league. Tell me. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for how perfect your league is, that there isn't controversy every single year from somebody making a dumb move. Especially people that have vetoes, which is ridiculous. Vetoes are absolutely ridiculous to have in your league. But those of you that have vetoes, you have them there because people make bad trades and you can't trust them. That's why you implemented a veto process. You want to hold someone's hand. The truth of the matter is this. As much as both these guys, especially Dak, are in the panic chamber, and I'm going to hit the button and close the door, I am still buying Ceedee Lamb at the right price, which is using pieces of my team that do not make up the core of it. Now, maybe the outer edge of the core of my team I'm using. Maybe I am sending a Pickens and a player. Maybe I am sending a player that is very much in everybody's good graces right now. Maybe you're trading a Tracy away because you love him, but you can get rid of him with two other pieces to go get Lamb. You make the attempt. You go get Ceedee Lamb. You definitely go get him in Dynasty. You definitely go get, yes, MHJ, Ceedee Lamb, all these guys in Dynasty as people, fickle Freddies, start to freak out about long-term value in conjunction with short-term value. We're buying Ceedee Lamb at the right price, but he's in the panic chamber. You bet your bottom dollar.
You are in the panic chamber.
So we'll go over the Christian McCaffrey news, the A.J. Brown news. For those that don't know, Christian McCaffrey back at practice. The 21-day practice window was opened. A.J. Brown may not miss any time, which is good news. We'll break all that down on the 8 p.m. show. So know that we're gonna dig into these super chats real quick, open the phone lines briefly. We will be back at 8 p.m. as well. Smitty, what do we do with JT? Trade him for Lamb, or I can get a good running back for him? I don't know that you're going to be able to get much for him right now after laying a really bad game on the table there. And, there's no talk about him being injured today, but we know he got a little bit dinged up in that game. Came out, didn't go back in for a little while, and definitely appeared to be bothered a little bit by his, we believe, ankle/foot, but seemed to be okay after the game. There's been no reports about any injuries, but I definitely feel like he is not 100% right now. Would I take Lamb? I think I probably would. There's pros and cons to it. I still love JT, but can he stay healthy? That's my big concern with JT. Could add like Reed or Chase Brown for a 2-for-1. Yeah, if you could get Lamb and Chase Brown for JT, you smash the hell out of that trade, my broski. Any underdog picks tonight? Yeah, we'll probably go through something at 8 p.m. I appreciate you, my bro. Mahomes, Kyron, Corum, Achane, Wright, Kenneth Walker, Sharbs, Ray Davis, Terry, DK, Keon, Lost Godwin. Trade Kenneth Walker and Sharbs and Davis for Cooper Kupp and Chase Brown. You bet your bottom dollar I'm taking Cooper Kupp and Chase Brown. That's an easy call. That's like one of the easiest questions I've been asked all week, my broski. Reed for AJB. I'd take AJB. And the word is today, and we'll talk about this at 8 p.m., that he might not miss any time at all. There's still a chance, but it seems like he escaped some really bad potential injury. The thing is, though, what caused him... The knee's complex, bro. And part of me thinks if this guy got injured enough that he had to limp, limping to the locker room, very much injured, what is the likelihood there's no ill effects or future risk this year, next week risk, this coming tomorrow risk at practice, that he doesn't, whatever caused him to have an uncomfortable sensation in his knee isn't a open door to a devastating season-ending meniscus tear. You know what I'm saying? That's the part that does concern me. But I think I take the gamble on AJB in one league like this scenario. Would I put all my eggs in the basket of AJ Brown right now? No, I would not. No, I would not. Should I trade Jamar Chase and Brian Thomas Jr. for DK, Evans, and Dobbins? No, I would not. There's no way in hell I'm doing that. Have Gibbs, Pacheco. You're fine. Don't get too excited over injured players, bro. You're buying an injured DK. You're buying an injured Mike Evans. You're buying a up and down rookie. You're taking an up and down rookie in Brian Thomas Jr., but you have all of the upside in the world in Jamar Chase. There's no way in hell I'm doing this trade. Absolutely. No. Michael, appreciate your super chat. Trade Terry and Chase Brown for Tyreek Hill. No. Scary Terry scored 2 touchdowns last week. He's been on a tear. Chase Brown is arguably a top 20 overall player. He might just be a top 20 overall player. I like Tyreek Hill. I love the idea of getting Tyreek Hill. I like where your mind's trying to go, but I do not like the price you're paying for a guy that has done nothing all year except for in week 1. Nothing. His quarterback's back. I'm buying low. I'll have a buy low show probably tonight or tomorrow. Tyreek Hill will certainly be on it. I think we'll do it after the Monday night game. We'll do a buy low show. Tyreek Hill will certainly be on the buy low show. Ceedee Lamb will be on the buy low show. We'll definitely be buying these guys, but at what price? Not this price. This is a ton of value you're paying here. Connor laughing, saying Chase Brown not a top 20 overall player. Ha 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 ha! It's so funny. If this guy thinks Chase Brown's a top 20, he's certainly got top 20 overall upside, is what I said. And yes, he does. Unfortunately for you, pal, he does. Now go get me a coffee. Justin, appreciate you with the super chat. I traded Devontae Smith for Rachaad White straight up after weeks of failing to sell Rachaad White and getting laughed at. Smitty's right. Desperation is real. It is. But I think you mean you traded Devontae Smith for Rachaad White straight up. I think you mean the other way around, though, right? After failing to sell Rachaad White. Yeah, I think you mean this reverse. But yes, I like Devontae Smith a lot right now. Even with, and like I said, even with A.J. Brown likely to be not missing any time, it's still, and he could miss one game, but it's not a significant injury. There's still a huge amount of risk. A huge amount of risk. Terry for AJB. I'd rather have Scary Terry right now without the injury risk. Without the injury risk, my broski. No doubt about it. Yet no one's saying you draft Chase Brown inside the top 20 if you're drafting today. I don't think Connor understands the way this works. And that's okay, Connor. We're here to train you. We're here to teach you. This man has top 20 overall upside. Like, do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? I'm trying to tell you that you draft the man probably in the 30s overall, 30, 35 overall. He's got top 20 overall appeal and upside and can deliver upon that. Doesn't mean you pay it. doesn't mean you expect it. There's upside there. Upside there, pal. Okay, Nick, appreciate you with the $5 hauler. Nick says, Smitty, I have CeeDee, Hill, Jamar Chase. Also have Chase Brown, B-Rob, Hunt, Pacheco, running back. Should I try and get an elite running back with Ceedee Lamb? If so, 10-man PPR. I don't know that you're going to be able to get what you think you can get right now. You can certainly explore it. You can certainly explore it. You can certainly try and buy low on a few players that are not doing very well right now. I just don't know that you're going to, I don't know that you're going to get even, you can't get a Kamara. Kamara's out the window. That was last week's buy low. He was there for the taking. Walker, you could go after Walker and something using CeeDee Lamb, but I wouldn't take CeeDee Lamb and try and turn him into just Walker. I'd want more. I'd want like a Jaden Reed on top of it, and Jaden Reed just popped off, so you're not going to get him thrown into a deal. You're not going to get Kyron. You could throw something in. You know, there's to go after an RB is tough. To go after receivers easier because there's a plethora of wide receivers that could be even Steven swaps. You could say DK, you could say Debo, you could say Nico Collins, but you give up more. Nico might be a top 5 wide receiver going forward. You're not going to get him straight up for CeeDee Lamb right now. Probably not. But could you trade him for... Could you trade CeeDee Lamb and another player? Let's say a running back that had a little bit more value than Chase Brown and get back Nico and Chase Brown and do the whole, I'm not going to expect it. I'm going to hope that Chase Brown gives me what I think he's going to give me. There's a fantastic value in 2-for-1 or 2-for-2 trades where 2-for-1s don't really do it. 2-for-1s are hard when there's complexities involved like injuries and things that make people not want to pay top dollar when maybe they should pay a little more than they're even paying. Like Lamb, you shouldn't have to sell Lamb super low. You should be able to sell him medium rare, but in some cases you can't. You make a what was a 2-for-1 or a 1-for-2 using Lamb, whichever way you want to look at it, like 2-for-1 Nico, you'd give up Lamb and something. Or if you were to give up Lamb to get something smaller like Tyreek Hill, you get the 2-for-1. Sometimes the injury factor makes you guys completely not on the same page in terms of exchange and value. So you make it a 2-for-2 to make it a complex situation. But running backs are going to be hard to buy low right now. Walker, Breece Hall. Breece Hall would be my number one target. If I'm trading Lamb away, I'm trying to buy another fellow doubted player, Breece Hall. People are freaking out about Breece Hall. Tonight's show, I bet you our main target for CeeDee Lamb trades will be Breece Hall. And when we say, is CeeDee Lamb in the panic chamber? Yeah, you know who's also in the panic chamber for a lot of people, but not this man? Breece Hall. Trade Lamb for Breece Hall. Even if it's a 2-for-2, even if you give up something more with Lamb to get Hall to get it done, do it. Or if you can do a complex 2-for-2 trade that benefits you greatly, trade for Breece Hall. Breece Hall would be the best trade situation and scenario. 100%. Traded Devontae Smith for Rashad. Oh, I already did that one. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate you. This one's from Gene. Gene says, trade B-Rob Jr. for Tracy. I'd take Tracy, to be honest with you. Also have ETN. I like Tracy a lot. There's a little bit of a gamble there, and B-Rob Jr. is still a good player, but he's been banged up. I don't know that I trust him right now. 4-game losing streak, 4-5, JD5, JT, Kyron, Cup, BT, Waddle, Dell, McBride. It's a good team, man. Started hot, but now sliding. What should you do? I don't know that there's a lot of trade value for you right now. Cup, you could sell Cup for 2 players, but do I think you even need to do that? I like JT in your situation. I'd sell him if I could get Breece Hall. So maybe explore JT and Waddle for Breece Hall and something. JT and Dell for Breece Hall. Would I do that? Maybe. JT and BT. I'd trade BT to get into Breece Hall using JT, but try and get a second piece. Past that, I kind of like what you got here. I think it's going to be okay for you. Assuming your trade deadline isn't this week, maybe it's next week. You wait a week and we come back full circle and we see what buy lows are on the table. But Breece Hall would be my target for you right now. Over and over and over. Try and get it done. Rest of season side is better, JT for CeeDee or JT for Kupp? I'd take Kupp. Kupp is in a much better situation at this moment in time, my broski. He just is. His team's winning. There's no turmoil at the quarterback position. Hill for Chase Brown and BT. I'd take Chase Brown and BT. Absolutely. Paul, appreciate you. Which two fantasy playoffs? Hunt, Bigsby, Davis. Probably still. Pacheco's going to be back, bro. I would take Hunt. God, Bigsby's still very talented, but where's he been? I'm going to say Davis and Hunt, and just hopes that you get some value out of Hunt still, but I don't know. There's a real good shot that Hunt is the most irrelevant or still very relevant. We don't really know. Chat, vote on that one. Hunt, Bigsby, and Ray Davis, pick 2 for the playoffs. Fantasy playoffs long term. Sup, bro? 5-4 right now with a 4-win streak. After being 1-4, rate my team: Josh Allen, Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Tyreek. Solid squad. Love the team. Breece, Kenneth Walker, Tyreek, CeeDee. You're going to come around. I know that the MHJ lack of production has been bothering you. Tracy's fantastic in the meantime. If you can throw him in somewhere, I'm still starting Tyreek every week. Kenneth Walker every week. Breece Hall. It's a good team. I stand down with this one. I don't think I'm even looking to make a move because what can you really sell high? And you still have a lot of good players. Big Bride, you can maybe sell high, but I'd rather just keep them because you don't have a lot of holes. I like the squad a lot. I'm going to take this team into the season, the rest of the season with a smile. This one right here from, let's see, Snod, appreciate you. 6-3, standard moves. JD5, Darnold, Saquon, Cook, Jacobs. Make sure you get Ray Davis if he's out there, bro. You got to protect that Cook value. But I like Cook. But Cook or Jacobs with maybe Adams might be a move that I would make, or even a Tillman, or maybe a Pitts if someone still would buy high because you got Kraft. I think people with Kraft and Pitts, 2 tight ends like that, especially Laporta and Pitts, Laporta and Otten, you got to make moves, I think, and get out of that value. So if you can use one of those tight ends with Adams, one of those tight ends with Cook and Adams to go upgrade, I do that. I think Breece Hall would be my number one target, using Cook or Jacobs with Adams to go get Breece Hall, then throw Tillman right in the lineup. That's how I would attack with that team. Sell high on Zay Flowers, Nico, maybe. I would definitely sell Zay Flowers on the high, even though I love what I'm seeing, and he definitely is looking more consistent, and Lamar's starting to maybe, we don't know. He could have 2 really bad games, and we're like back to Lamar not focusing on making a top 25 wide receiver, just spreading it around. That's kind of his game, but he's starting to look really consistent. But I would definitely sell him for Nico. I'd sell Zay for probably Debo. I would sell Zay for, take a gamble on Lamb. I would buy Breece Hall in some deal. I would use Zay to get a big bargaining chip, a big piece that I could either flip or just keep and say, I like this. I'm going to take a gamble on a Ceedee Lamb. I'm not saying you're getting Ceedee Lamb straight up, but those are the kind of moves that I'm trying to make with Zay Flowers right now. Zay Flowers is one bad game away from the deflated balloon effect, where everybody thinks he's the best thing ever right now. And if he has one bad game, people will jump off the ship just as quickly as they're jumping on and pretending he's a top 5 wide receiver right now. 5-4, full PPR. Who should I trade Lamb for? Burrow, Henry, Mixon, Lamb, Devontae Smith. This is a good team, bro. Nico would be great. You give up something else. You know, you got Ferguson and Gesicki and Kraft. One of those guys. Mason, one of those guys. I love that you have Burrow and Mahomes. You could trade Burrow if you needed to use that to get Lamb into Nico or to get Lamb into a Jamar Chase. I certainly would try and use Burrow or the tight end, or Burrow and the tight end, to try and upgrade Lamb into a JJ, into a Jamar Chase, into a Nico Collins. One of those would do. One of those should suffice. That would be my main goal. I'm also very interested in getting Breece Hall in a flex spot for you somehow, some way. And honestly, yeah, you want to go after a wide receiver if you do trade Lamb, though. I don't know if I'd be comfortable enough not having a big gun. I would definitely go to the CMC owner, see if you can trade Mason to them in some sort of deal that's similar to what we're talking about. Maybe they need the tight end. Maybe they need something that will help you upgrade. But yeah, so I would say the best idea I can give anybody, best Lamb trade idea. Get Breece Hall. That is what I'm going to recommend to every single one of you. And we'll talk more about this tonight. But this seems to be the best recipe for getting the most bang for your buck while buying a player that I believe has the ability to be a top 5 player at their position. JD5, Hurts, Gibbs, Kyron, Chase Brown, Nico, Dell, Pickens. Any moves, 4 and 5, I like to have. Feel like I have too much depth. Gibbs, Kyron, Hurts, Chase Brown, Nico, Dell. No, bro. I love this team. Maybe Pickens and potentially Chase Brown for a JJ, for a Chase, for, that type of player. Lamb is interesting. Lamb is intriguing. Would I rather have Pickens than Lamb? I'd rather have Lamb. So if you can make that work, I'm doing that. Chase Brown into Breece Hall. I don't know if you can get Pickens and Chase Brown and turn it into Breece Hall. That's something I'd explore. Down 6 with Hunt left. Bucks kicker for him. I think I would. This is gonna be a down to the wire, bro. But I'd probably rather be you by a hair. Should I pick up May, Herbert, or Goff for Dak? I'd probably pick up Goff for safety. Knicks if you want high upside, high risk. What is your thoughts on the most platforms projecting CMC as a running back 1 workload and points next week? Mason at 5 points. Full PPR. Seems far-fetched. Yeah, I don't understand it. He's out there running, which is good, but it's not like he's out there cutting hardcore. He's jogging. It looks like he's kind of like almost got shin splints, which is what a lot of, the way that's going to feel for him. His whole lower body's locking down. We'll see. I'm not ruling out that he doesn't go out, have a good week or two, but they rush him out to that kind of workload this week, he's probably going to get hurt. I'm telling you, Mason and Garendo are still absolutely on my waiver wire board as win-a-league players. Full circle week 10 version of the pre-week 1 version. Mason Garendo could win you a league. That was preseason content here on the channel. We're back week 10 full circle. Mason and Garendo getting cut everywhere. Pick them up, cuff them together. League winning holds right now. BTJ and Dell, BT, and Waddle for Neighbors. I would take Neighbors in all accounts. I'm willing to bet on Neighbors' talent. Michael, appreciate you. Rate my team 1 wide receiver, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex. I think you mean 1 QB. Hurts, JD5. If WE is QB, then you try and trade one of these guys. If it's 2 QB super flex, then you gotta hold both of them. And your team's much more phenomenal if it has to. But your team's really good. Nico, Terry, I like this squad. Any moves trying to trade JD5? There you go. So you are trying to trade JD5. JD5 and Jacobs to upgrade into something. Breece Hall's perfect. Perfect, bro. If you got to throw in a Tillman or a Coleman or a Amari Cooper or a Njoku and go rogue at tight end, you do that. But Breece Hall's my number 1 go-get for you. I kind of like the idea of getting into a Lamb in your situation. Still 1 tonight, full PPR, Hunt or Auden. Probably Hunt for safety, Auden maybe for a higher swing, bigger swing, but more risk. But I think I go Hunt, bro. He's pretty locked into volume right now. Superflex, any moves? QBs, Burrow, Dax, Caleb, Breece, Chase Brown, Tank, Nico, Tillman, Worthy. I like this team a lot. Trying to trade DJ Moore if I can. Probably not going to be able to with Tillman. Maybe Caleb, because somebody needs a QB bad enough. They'll take Caleb. And I'm trying to get something, bro. I'm trying to get that Ramondre upgraded, that Tillman spot or Worthy spot upgraded or DJ Moore spot upgraded. So Caleb, DJ Moore, you go get Tyreek Hill. Caleb, DJ Moore, you go get a Walker or you get a Debo. Debo would be perfect for this team. DK Metcalf off the injury. And final super chat of this show, and I'll be back. Tracy Worthy for Neighbors or Collins. I would take Tracy and Worthy for Collins in a millisecond, and I'd still do it for Neighbors, but that is a totally different trade. I mean, I like Neighbors a lot, but all right, this is the last super chat. Then I'm out of here. 6-3, 12-team PPR. Josh Allen, AJ Brown, Puka, Mixon, Monty, Bowers, London, Dobbins, BT. Holder trade. Probably say with this team, AJ Brown, Puka, very, very solid. Mixon, Monty, I like it a lot. Bowers, London, Dobbins, BT. I guess you're trying to trade. I would probably look to take advantage of the Bowers situation if this is me and say I'm going to either start Hunter Henry and try and upgrade into a Breece Hall using Monty and Bowers. Try to upgrade maybe Dobbins and Bowers into something like that. It's certainly possible. Taking a London and Bowers and trying to turn that into a Jamar Chase who his quarterback had 5 touchdowns and Chase had none of them. I'm not saying I'm panicked, but his owner might be like, what's going on? You're going to give me the number 1 tight end in fantasy football in Bowers? You'll give me a top 10 wide receiver in London? You know, would you throw in BT or Dobbins if they threw somebody else in? I'm taking Breece Hall all day or JJ or Jamar Chase, and I think London, Dobbins, and Bowers can get you more than you think. I'll be back at 8 p.m. to go over all the news that includes AJB, Christian McCaffrey, more on Lamb and Dak, more on what to do and how to get out of this situation or get into the Ceedee Lamb situation if you want to buy low. I'll see you all. Appreciate all my super chatters. Appreciate every single one of you. I work for you. The Fantasy Football Show. Out for now. Be back in roughly, I don't know. Let's see. We'll be back at an hour, a little over 2 hours.
Legend has it if you say St. Brown 3 times in the dark in the bathroom, you will immediately lose your league.